Coming up, a dark horse emerges from the Democratic presidential nomination candidates. And later, Iowa City Mayor says high-rise apartments are coming to Iowa City whether students like it or not.
After a season plagued with injuries, one Hawkeye wrestler is finally making his way back to the mat. More for you in sports.
And later, I'll tell you what to expect this week in weather.
All that and more coming up on this Tuesday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere, DITV News starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Bailey Chihan. Amy Klobuchar has become the dark horse Democrat of the 2020 presidential election. Senator Bernie Sanders won the New Hampshire primary, but Klobuchar came in third behind Pete Buttigieg. New Hampshire marked a surge for Klobuchar since her fifth-place performance in Iowa just a week before. Klobuchar has raised over $12 million since the polls closed in New Hampshire. She plans to use the funds to reach more diverse voters. Currently, Klobuchar is polling at 0% with African-American voters. Given her low support in minority communities, critics question whether Klobuchar's campaign will hold up in diverse states. The Iowa City skyline may drastically change following an Iowa City City Council vote. Council members vote on a height bonus request for a pair of apartment towers proposed at 12 East Court Street tonight. The site is currently the home to Pentecrest Garden Apartments. The development team needs approval to build 15 stories, which is the maximum height allowed in the Riverfront Crossings District. The project would provide 1,500 additional beds close to the University of Iowa campus. Mayor Bruce Teague said this would take pressure off the core neighborhood's rental market. Others say the luxury apartment complex is not what Iowa City needs. University of Iowa Student Government Black Constituency Senator Adeline Barron said, quote, "Low-income students are going to be pushed to the outskirts. People who live in Iowa City are going to be people who can afford rent of $700 and up. This means a 30 to 45-minute commute to class and back home. Places like this are not affordable," end quote. The apartment project is the largest private residential project in Iowa City history. Well, it was a beautiful morning in Iowa City. Grace, what's the weather look like later today?
It's looking like things are really starting to warm up. Right now it's 29 degrees and cloudy, and that should stay the same until this evening. Tomorrow will be cloudy with a high of 23 and a low of 7. Thursday will be sunny with a high of 22 and a low of 8 degrees. Friday is sunny and with lows in the 40s, and Saturday will be cloudy in the high 40s. Back to you, Bailey.
A new student organization has popped up on campus called Give You Iowa. This organization's primary goal is to raise awareness of Give, an organization that provides volunteer efforts in Thailand, Nepal, Nicaragua, and more. Give You Iowa will act as a local chapter of the parent organization. It plans to support and fundraise for two nonprofit organizations, Students for Students and the Give Foundation. Both organizations assist Give's local chapter when volunteers are unable to attend. Give You Iowa will work locally and internationally, opening up opportunities for students to travel. The group hopes to begin volunteer projects in Iowa City shortly. They will begin hosting fundraising workshops and other events to kick off the organization. For more information on Give You Iowa, look for the print edition of the Daily Iowan on stands now. A decade ago, the University of Iowa's Fulbright program failed to make the Chronicle of Higher Education's list of top producers. This year, Iowa is ranked 18th along Ivy Leagues as top producing institution. This marks the University of Iowa's 5th consecutive year as a top producer. The Fulbright program provides opportunities to study, teach, and conduct research abroad to find solutions to international problems. The university had 47 applicants this year. 18 of the 19 award offers were accepted, setting a new record for the university. This makes the University of Iowa the institution with the 6th highest percentage ratio of applicants to awards. And let's toss it to sports.
One Hawkeye wrestler made his return to the mat after being injured most of the season. Max Murin has been in and out of the lineup all year, but the Hawkeyes need him now more than ever. For more on the story, we have DITV Sports Director Kate Overton.
The Hawkeyes are ranked #1 for a very good reason. They haven't lost this entire season. But Iowa hasn't won an NCAA championship since 2010. In order to win it all in March, they need to be good at every weight in the lineup. The Hawkeyes are right on the brink of history, and that's why it's important to find some consistency. 141 has been a little inconsistent all season long, one of the only weaknesses the Hawkeyes have, but in the words of Max Mirren, he's back.
I didn't even know I was wrestling today, to be honest. I talked to Coach Brands earlier in the week, and he said, we're probably going to go with Halfwell. And I was like, all right. So I mean, I really didn't know I was wrestling or anything, and then I kind of like it, though. But I wasn't nervous or anything. I just went out there to try to score points.
The pressure was on when Mirren's name was called to take on the 4th-ranked Mitch McKee. But Mirren likes the spotlight and wasn't just ready to take on the challenge. Mirren was finally healthy.
It's one of those things where got to be smart to the very end and not smart to kind of the end. So he'll be ready. He was ready tonight, but yeah, it's good. Mirren made the call. Medical team green lighted him. How do you feel? You're making the call. He said, I'm going.
With Max Mirren now officially healthy at 141 pounds, the Hawkeyes' road to being the NCAA national champions just got a little easier. Reporting from Carver Hawkeye Arena, Kate Overton, DITV.
Mirren qualified for the NCAA championships last year, where he had 2 first-round upsets that gave the Hawkeyes some major points. This year, Mirren and the entire team are going to be going for as many bonus points as possible so they can finally end Penn State's dynasty. Both men's and women's tennis teams were in action this Sunday, hosting matches at the Hawkeye Tennis and Recreation Center. The women's team took on the University of Colorado Buffaloes, who took an early lead with the doubles point, but senior Esley Van Huevelen dominated in the #1 single spot, winning her match in 2 sets 6-2. Sophomore Michelle Bacala and junior Danielle Bowers also took wins in their singles matches, but it wasn't enough to defeat the Buffaloes, and the Hawks lost this one 4-3. In the men's match against Wichita State, Wishhawks, all eyes were on doubles duo Will Davies and Oliver Okonkwo, who were ranked 16th in the nation. Despite a hard-fought set, they dropped their match and the doubles point to Wichita State. But the Hawks didn't let that faze them, as they won 4 singles matches, beating the Wishhawks 4-3. The men's team is back in action this Friday as they take on Utah in Salt Lake City. And moving from the court to the mat, the University of Iowa women's gymnastics team threw it back to the 80s when they hosted the Michigan Wolverines this weekend. This Big Ten matchup was competitive from the start. After one rotation, freshman Allison Steffensmeyer set a new career high on the vault with a score of 9.8, and the momentum carried over to the bars and beam for junior Erin Castle. She posted a score of 9.825 on the bars and 9.775 on the beam. And lastly, Allie Gilchrist recorded a 9.8 on the floor. Even though the Gymhawks earned new career highs, they fell just short to the Wolverines with a score of 195.975 to 196.8. The Gymhawks are back in action this Friday at the Big 5 tournament in Toledo, Ohio. It looks like spring sports are in full swing. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for an update on how the softball and baseball teams did in their first series of the season. Bailey, back to you.
Well, I used to work as a bridal consultant, and one of my favorite companies to work for happens to be mentioned in this story. Every bride wants to feel like a princess on their big day, but thanks to one bridal boutique, they will soon be able to look like one as well. Allure Bridals has teamed up with Disney to create a line of wedding dresses that capture the style and spirit of various Disney princesses. The line of wedding dresses is titled Fairy Tale Weddings Collection and features 16 styles of wedding dresses. The pieces will make their debut during New York Bridal Fashion Week in April and will hit stores worldwide shortly after. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what those dresses look like. That's all we have for you today on this Tuesday morning edition of DITV News. Be sure to head over to dailyiowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday. If that isn't enough of the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check out our print edition of the news on stands now. For DITV News, I'm Bailey Chihan. Have a great day, Iowa City.